Before we commence with today's episode, we need to take a moment to thank one of our incredible sponsors, Bella Beauty Professional. They are the one-stop shop for brow and lash professionals, stocking over 50 plus worldwide brands and over 1,000 incredible products. Whether you are looking to purchase your go-to tints, waxes, brow lamination solutions, lash lifting products, or even bulk buying your disposables, Bella Beauty is your place to shop. Bella Beauty Professional has also been so kind to offer you guys another 15% off discount code for season 5 of our podcast. To get 15% off your next order with Bella, use our exclusive code BFN season 5 at checkout to redeem. Helina, you look so tropical right now.
Thanks. I'm in a Billy J outfit.
You know what? Billy J popping off. You've been in the warehouse recently, haven't you? You've been in there.
Love Billy J.
You are on the Billy bandwagon.
Leanne, who owns Billy J, is probably one of my favorite people in the world.
Love
and
that.
she's so humble.
Can I tell you who my current favorite wardrobe attire person is?
Mm-hmm.
Fate.
Love Brittany Lee.
I'm
Brittany
like,
Lee Saunders.
yes,
We
give me
love
all the
her.
goodies.
Yeah, no, I'm obsessed with Billy J right now.
Love that.
I have been for years.
You've been a Billy gal.
Yeah.
I'm a Fate gal right now.
Yeah.
I'm happy to like dabble into a Billy though.
I love
I'll
Billy.
have a turn.
Come on then. I can tell you everything that's launching.
I
love it. And just I went to the warehouse the other week and walked around with Leanne, and it was seriously like, obviously we have our experience with at the Bella warehouse and like with our industry.
So
Yeah. It's on steroids. She has 130 people working in her warehouse.
okay, huge. But imagine like what's like another like beginning boutique or White Fox.
Oh.
They're huge, right?
Yeah.
Like I know, like I feel like they're like that next step higher. I can't imagine even what they look like. Or Gymshark. I'm just thinking like those really, really, really big ones.
Did you see the videos from Billy? These warehouses are like
Massive.
Shay. Think one thing of your complex where you live,
Holy shit.
and then add some on top. Yeah,
I don't think I could have 130 staff members.
that's just in the warehouse.
no.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Can you imagine, like, is that something you strive for? Do you ever see yourself being that big, that huge with that many people working underneath you?
No way.
I don't know.
No, with that many people on way. What Leanne has built for herself
That's
with Billy
insane.
J's, she started out in a shed in Morayfield.
You've got to be made for that role though.
She's
Like-
amazing. She's such a beautiful person, and it reflects on how she treats her staff. She reminds me of Samara, calling her people
Bless.
humans, and
Bless.
she doesn't refer to them as like staff members. It's just people.
Dogs.
But I love that whole side of learning e-commerce, and
It's mind blowing.
it's so interesting to me.
mind
So,
blowing.
anywho, thanks for the compliment on my outfit.
That's okay.
We have a fun episode today.
We are talking about startups.
Starting up.
And I think this is really coming
I've got
from
goosebumps.
this is really stemming from people who maybe work either in another industry or they work for someone in the beauty industry.
Yeah.
And they're potentially wanting to do their own thing. I'm not mad at it. I'm here for it. I think there's definitely steps to go about it,
100%.
which I feel like there's a bit of a fine line. And I also don't want it to come across like it's all sunshines and rainbows working for yourself. There's days that I'm like, fuck, can Bella Beauty just hire me? Like,
Don't even
I'm done
I say
working
that.
for
I text
myself.
Anthea once a week. Do you need help in the warehouse yet?
Helina's trying to get a job, so am I. But it looks really like fun and dandy on one side. But then we also look at it, well, myself, I've never worked for someone else in the beauty industry, so I don't know what that's like. You've had experience in that way, and then you've obviously gone out to do your own thing. Do you ever see yourself going back working
Absolutely
on
not.
someone's salon?
I started Bareface Brows when I was 19.
For yourself?
For myself.
Yeah.
From my Mazda CX-3.
Yeah.
On
Not
my
in the
own.
boot. I remember at Ash, someone was like, are you doing brows in your boot?
No, I used to
You would travel.
lug a massage bed around, a Luvo 19-inch ring light,
I love it.
and a wax pot from Priceline.
Bless.
And I used to take it to people's houses, and I used to literally finish my pharmacy job at 6 p.m. in Mullaney, which is like hinterland Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
And then I would literally travel as far as like Burpengary, North Lakes, which is like an hour's drive,
Shit.
to do a $20
Minute service. Yep.
brow wax.
Actually, it probably wasn't 20 minutes. It would have been like
It took
probably
me
an
about
hour.
an hour.
For
Yeah.
$20.
Then hike it back to the Sunshine Coast
Yeah.
where I was living with my dad and his wife, and then do it all again.
So what made you then go and want to work for someone else?
I was
What enticed
approached. So I actually got messaged via Instagram by a business owner on the Sunshine Coast,
Right.
who then kind of was offering me my job on a silver
Do you feel like
platter.
they had done that to other people as well?
Yes.
Was that kind of the like, because like I can see when you're a brow artist, you have your own business and you're looking for bring on staff.
who is just as good and who
You want
have
them
a
to already have
clientele.
skills. and-
Definitely, yeah.
So I can see why.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
I was approached and I accepted the offer,
Mm-hmm.
and I only worked there for 4 months,
Okay.
and it wasn't for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you were like, I'm ready.
Yeah, I
Is
was
it
just
nice having control of your own schedule?
definitely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people thought I started out there.
Yeah.
Because
I
I
did. In
I
the very
did get
beginning.
exposure from working there.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we met
through
when
that.
like you were introduced to
time.
me,
Yeah,
as
definitely.
working underneath this person. Yeah, we were introduced when you were at this point of your time as well.
Yeah, so I was like, when was that? We were at a brow dinner.
Was it 2020?
Yeah, I think so.
I had fresh boobs.
Did you?
My boobs were like up to my
You
neck.
were in a wild phase of life.
I was living my best life.
You were in a
bug,
wild
get out of here.
phase of life. I
um,
remember meeting you and going, fuck that Browz by Shay bitch is psycho.
What?
Crazy.
Why?
Yeah, just like, not psycho.
wait, there's a story. That's why you're saying this, right?
Yeah. because-
We don't talk about that story.
Oh my God, the fact
done
that
with
you're
that
like
story.
married and have a house and dogs and stuff now compared to
So,
when I
okay,
met you.
you were introduced to me when I was in that time of life. I was being 21.
You were living. I loved it. And I just remember thinking like, this girl, I like her.
Was I Browz by Shay back then?
Yeah. Yeah, you weren't even the naked brow yet.
Bless.
But yeah, so moving forward, I did my stint in a salon alongside other women as well.
Yeah.
And there was good and bad. But I just, like, you know, when it got to the end of it, it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I say, I think pros of working in a salon environment where there's other staff is you really get to, you have a team, right? You get to bounce, you get to have fun.
Yeah.
There's lots of giggles, right? You see these
Definitely.
people 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It can be a really cool environment when the team's like
Definitely,
fire.
yeah. I was working underneath like another business, and then I was still doing days of Bareface.
Okay, I feel like that's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was to bring on a staff member being a boss, I wouldn't want them to also have their side gig.
Well, I didn't want to let it go, and
I
that
totally
was,
get that.
That was
Yeah.
one of my.
I'm
things.
shocked that you were able to do that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There was lots of flexibility of me
Yeah,
coming on
that's
board.
really good.
And I was very appreciative for that because I had a lot of acceleration through that point in time with my business. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking, I didn't even have an online booking system up until this point.
Wow.
So it was still very much me I was 20 at the time. Like no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No idea. I was
Yeah.
still working at the
Such a
pharmacy.
building phase.
Yeah, I was still doing full-time work at the pharmacy. I remember being on the
you were
front
doing
counter.
the pharmacy for so long, and I remember you used to telling you like, Helina, quit the pharmacy.
Oh,
what
yeah.
are you doing?
Even up until like it was probably just
End of
over a year
2021,
ago.
right?
No, well, because what happened was I had let pharmacy drop down.
Yeah.
And then I started working under part-time hours with this other business. And then on my days off from my scheduled hours with them, I would then still work either on my own clients
Yep.
or at the pharmacy. And I just couldn't let it go. It was honestly the scariest thing to then take that leap.
Totally fair.
Like I worked up in pharmacy. I was still working. I was doing the podcast.
we were podcasting at the time, and you were
Yep.
like, I'd be like, oh, let's try and schedule, and you're like, oh, I got the pharmacy, and I
Yeah.
was like, babes, let it go.
Shay's like, Helina, quit the pharmacy. I'm like, I can't.
and you're like, but Browz, but pharmacy, and I was like, get the pharmacy.
Shay
out of
was
here.
constantly at me for like 2 years, like get rid of the pharmacy. But it was,
I know you were just scared to let it go.
it's a terrifying thing. And when people message us about, you know, having to take that leap
Yeah.
and in business, it's fucking terrifying.
It is.
My partner literally will say to me, how much money do you know you're making this week? I was like, I don't.
Who knows?
Who knows? It is literally up to me and my clients.
That's a pro and a negative, because some weeks it's fucking sky high.
Yeah,
and you're
some
like,
weeks it's
oh
sick.
baby. And then weeks like when you're in a quiet period, you're like, do I need to pick up like a second job? Like what the fuck's happening?
Literally. So I think when it comes to startups, there's no right time.
No.
It's just take the leap. That's my biggest piece of advice. It's my biggest piece of advice to my partner right now too.
He's wanting to do his own thing,
he's
isn't
wanting
he?
to do his own thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, do it.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you we're doing it. Get it sorted. And it's when you almost have like when you're brave. You have to be brave.
Yeah, you can be a big girl.
You have to be a big girl, big boy, and you just have to be brave, take the leap.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't necessarily a leap per se. It was something that I needed to do. I needed to get out of the environment that I was in.
Yep.
It wasn't filling my cup.
Yep.
It wasn't filling my client's cup. It wasn't the right environment.
Yeah.
And honestly, the saying of when one door closes, another one opens, I lived by.
Yeah.
It's no secret I was at quite a low point in my life when I was.
You've always been very vocal and honest
Definitely.
about this as well.
Yeah, I was not happy. So I needed to change something.
Yeah.
And at that point, I had just purchased a house with mum. So things were very heightened. I was
And this
stressed.
is when you and I really started to become close to.
Yeah, definitely. It was like phone calls on the way to work, on the way home from work. And
Bonded us, baby.
It did. Trauma bond. But I really lent on you in that time. And I think that's where we really created this. It was a friendship before it was a partnership or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I moved, like I closed that door and then opened the door and I had this beautiful home. Yeah. And then I had to really talk to myself to be like, it's okay.
We're going to make it work.
To go from a beautiful salon to a room in my house. I kept saying, like, my mum was constantly like, work from home. You'll be able to work from home. I'm like, I'm not working from home.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not working from home.
So you were adamant at the beginning.
I was.
You're now a real big advocate for it. I love it.
I hate how much I thought to myself that it was a step back.
Yeah.
Working from home is such a privilege.
Yeah, it is.
That
it is.
Now that I don't get to do it, I'm like,
damn it.
Miss that. So my end goal, 100%. Keegan and I will build a beautiful home and I will be working from home within the next 2 years.
We've both said this. Like, I think if I could have a house and then a little like, you know when people have a shed and then they deck their shed
I
out?
would do it. One of my friends, Jess, she owns Honey. Oh, what is it?
Honey Cosmetics?
No. Oh my God, I'm such a bad person.
Just say my friend Jess.
My friend Jess owns a business and she decked out a shipping container.
I love it.
Goals.
Because, right, I decked out a commercial space. I'm not there anymore. Did that commercial space come with me?
No.
Deck out something in your home.
Oh, this is what I mean.
Full control. That is yours. You put money in and it's yours.
There's definitely things that come along with that.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of people do start out from a room in their house, which I love.
Yep.
When you're working from home, you need to obviously have an aesthetically pleasing. It's nice to have an aesthetically pleasing. It's not necessarily a need at the start. You need a light. You need a bed. You need a wax pot.
Yep.
That's what you need. That's
You
what
need
I
a Bella
had.
Beauty account.
Oh yeah, you need a Bella Beauty account. I had those 4 things.
Yep.
And I really had to accept that was what my clients needed from me. They needed me in a good headspace and I wasn't in one, but then I made myself in one.
Yeah, you created your own new environment.
And then when it came to things that I wanted for the space, like an acrylic sign, like a big mirror.
You get them over time, hey?
You do it over time.
Yep.
But then there's also the like necessities that you need to make sure you're ticking off. Council approval.
Yeah.
If you're doing anything that's penetrating skin, you need to have a smooth surface and you need to like obliged by the council things. You need to have all your licensing with your council. So that was one thing that I was going to deck it out, and because I was tattooing at that time.
Helina tattooing.
I know. So I was.
That was such a time you were about to dive into that.
Yeah, I was about to go and do like a whole lip tattooing course and everything.
Do you ever have regrets?
No.
Love that.
I really enjoyed tattooing. I think it's just 50% you, 50% the client, and it is a skill set. I still do clients' brows that I tattooed at one point in my career, and I'm like, oh, look, you know.
Sorry, babes.
They're a bit saturated there, aren't they? Sorry about that.
Let me just tint over that one.
So when it came to me going and working from home, I decided to let that go because one, it was going to cost me around 12 grand to do all of the plumbing, all the smooth surfacing.
So you need a sink in there. Yeah, you need everything. The full shebang.
Everything. And
just heightens everything.
And I was like, you know what? One, I do not have the funds. Yeah. I'm flat fucking broke right now because I went back to pharmacy because through that period of me leaving and then starting a new chapter with where I was, I didn't want to do eyebrows.
That's right. You thought you were done, hey?
I was done.
Yeah.
I was done in more ways than I can imagine. And I look back on 21-year-old Helina and I just think like, you poor little honey.
Poor little soul.
I was literally Googling how to cancel an ABN. I was like, fuck this.
Get it off, yeah.
I was just like, it's just not an industry I wanted to be a part of. I was like, it was just not
I think as well, even years ago, there wasn't community like there is today.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've really tried to what is it? Wave the path? What's that saying?
Pave the path?
I don't fucking know. Make the pathway for more community because we were missing this 4 or 5 years ago.
I think it's like.
Pave the way?
Let it go. I think for me, it was quite a personal thing when it came to having a community because at that point in time, if you didn't answer the phone, I didn't have anyone that knew what I was going through.
Yeah.
I didn't have anyone that understood how isolating and how deflated I was feeling.
Yeah.
So when we started up our podcast, my goal was to be people that someone could listen to. Necessarily they're strangers to us, but they're listening to us talk about our journeys.
Yeah.
And if I knew that someone else had been through what I had been through with the starting up of a business, I would have felt 1,000 times better in myself. But to go from looking up how to cancel an ABN to where I am today,
wild.
It's crazy.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm very proud of myself.
Come a long way.
But when
you had like there was just some little bumps in the road there.
Yeah, and there's some things that I'll never speak about ever to anyone. But there's obviously things that I feel as if I can speak about now that I feel strong enough to talk about.
Yeah.
Like I have in this podcast. This is the first time that I've ever even kind of touched base on this time in my career. Because like you just said, a lot of people think I started out when I was 21. Yeah. When I just kind of started working from home.
Yeah.
Whereas there was a whole year and a half before that.
Yeah. Of learning.
Yeah. And
growing.
you learn and you grow. And I think that's why I hold that quote so close to my heart of never compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. Because there is no way in my time that chapter 1 that I started at 19, that 26-year-old Helina right now would be looking back on and thinking, bitch, look at the chapter you're at now.
It's nearly been 10 years.
Oh my God, don't.
Wow.
I haven't nearly have a fucking school reunion to attend.
That's wild.
But I think when it comes to startups, it's just like have a support system too. I couldn't have done that time in my life without my mum.
Yeah.
She was a massive support system to me. And my stepdad, absolutely. To know that I had those people to fall back on financially as well. Yes. Because it can be very expensive to start up.
Yeah.
And obviously when you have things like the licensing with the council and you need to know how to do a brow. Like I started, so I worked at Priceline for 7 years. That's how my pharmacy career started. But I used to budget into my like $120 paycheck that I would get to buy those, those big boxes of Veet leg wax strips.
Yes.
And I used
to trim them.
I used to cut them into an eyebrow, like of like a little arch to
You're
go
like,
under
this
an
is going
eyebrow.
to fit everyone perfectly.
This is going to make everyone's eyebrows the exact same shape. And I used to wax my friends' brows on the oval at my school.
I love that.
And then,
I love that.
like, I had teachers used to send me to detention for doing it.
I stopped doing people's eyebrows.
And then I started doing those teachers' eyebrows.
Nice.
But it's like, you know, you always, if you have an underlying passion and you've always had that passion,
follow it.
starting up a business is going to be a piece of cake for you.
Yeah.
Because you have a passion. Like, you are excited to go to work. You're excited to build clients.
And like learn and practice and grow.
Practice makes perfect. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
even looking back on our work that we used to do, you cannot tell me that we have not evolved over time. Products have evolved. Techniques have evolved. Education has evolved.
Everything.
Everything's different.
Yeah.
And to stay up to date with things like that is really crucial as well.
I wonder, for those people who are working in a salon, I wonder if they feel like they can evolve, like their boss is allowing them to continue to learn all these new things, or they feel a bit trapped, and maybe that's a reason why they want to get out so they can grow more.
I think if someone is experiencing that, you need to speak up. Your boss can't read your mind. If I had someone working for me and they felt as if I wasn't providing them with
enough
education or I wasn't giving them new products to try out, I would really respect someone that came to me and was like, hey, Helina, I really want to try this product. I'd be like, buy it. You want to try it? Buy it. Whereas it's a thing that if they're keeping it to themselves and they're not speaking up, how is that person meant to know that they're not filling that void?
Yeah.
So would you say the same thing?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Introducing Buff Lashes, a game-changing lash lifting solution created by Buff Brows. This ultimate lash lifting kit will revolutionize your client's beauty routine. And what's great is that it's created by techs for techs. This kit includes 3 simple steps to give your clients those stunning lifted lashes. Its quality and ease is what sets Buff Lashes apart from the rest. And here's the best part. It's suitable for all lash types, from short and straight to long and fine. It's cruelty-free and vegan.
Buff Brows is known for their exceptional customer support, providing step-by-step instructions and 24/7 assistance in case you have any questions. They truly care about your satisfaction. And guess what? You can grab yourself a free sample from Buff Brows. Use our special code BFNPOD in all capitals to save 20% off your next purchase from Buff Brows website. Thank you again to the Buff team for helping make this episode happen.
Well, while we're getting, I guess, into our own little journeys, which you've caught me off guard with this today. I wasn't.
We weren't prepared to go down this route.
I wasn't expecting to talk about this, but I think another thing that a lot of people experience in the industry is staff members and having people work for you.
Yep.
Me personally, I've never had anyone work for me, and I never will.
You don't have a desire?
No desire in me whatsoever. Potentially in a, when I want to start a family kind of thing, but I feel as if my clients come to Bareface Brows for Helina.
Yeah.
They come to see me. They couldn't care if my brow business name was D's Nuts. Where'd
that come from?
I have no idea. But it's like they're coming to see Helina.
Yeah.
They're like, my brow girl, Helina.
Yeah.
In your circumstances, you have had staff members?
Dabbled.
You've dabbled into it. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I've only ever had one. Oh, well, I guess 2. I had Shay, who was my assistant for so long, and she was incredible. And that was always a really just nice, easy, smooth.
Yeah.
It's always been beautiful. I did dabble into trying to hire another staff member as well. If I could go back, I would have held off, because I hired at a time where I might have been maybe 3 weeks booked out, but reflecting, I should have been 8 weeks booked out.
Okay.
Because I brought on a new staff member, absolutely gorgeous lady. There is no bad blood whatsoever. She was stunning, and she was a really great brow artist. She had just recently moved to my area, and I was like, yes, I love you. I love your work. I feel like we're really similar.
Yeah.
Vibing. And then brought her on, and we really struggled to fill out her books. Really, really struggled. And when you've just moved into state, you need to be having those hours, and I totally understand that. And we tried for a few months, and unfortunately it just wasn't working. We just couldn't get our books filled out. Yeah. So we ended up just separating, and it was a really just, that's what it is. There was no issues. If I saw her in the street, cuddle, catch up, totally fine.
Yeah.
But I do remember thinking, okay, like let's get so much education in there. Like let's really just make her amazing, because what you said, people have come to me for the last 5-6 years for Shay, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's scary bringing on a new person because your client's going to go to this person. In my case, no. So I had to then go and start searching for new clients to come to fill her books out, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah.
So that's why I was really trying to educate her and teach her my ways and my skills, and we worked really hard on that. We couldn't fill out her books, so we ended up letting her go. But then I can also see it and sense that, you know, I spent a lot of time and money as well, and it just didn't work out. So again, learning curve. Samara helped me through a lot of it from Salon Rising, like so much. Just, the biggest take back would be I wasn't booked out enough to bring on a new staff member.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I love that. Would I get another brow artist? Would I ever hire another one? No. Too much work. Too much effort. Do you know how nice it is knowing that my books are booked and filled? I rock up, I do brows, and I go home. Mm-hmm. It is so easy.
I think for me, if I was to ever hire, I would probably have a receptionist or an admin assistant. That's what I would need.
Yeah. But even saying that, I don't think it's necessary unless you're working 5 days fucking flat out. Crazy.
Because the thing is as well, you have to pay them.
Yeah.
And even if
their butt's sitting there, they ain't making money.
Yeah. But that's what I mean though. If their butt's sitting there, you have to give them money.
Yeah.
Like they're there working for you. So I think as well, like, you know, even when it came to like business coaches and stuff like that, Samara is my only.
She's incredible.
And I would more classify her as a mentor than a business coach. Definitely. So I never have invested anything like that into business coaches or anything either.
Yeah. It's, there's moments, actually you said this morning and I was like, I feel that sometimes too. There's moments where I'm like, oh, I want to be controversial. And then there's times that I'm like, fuck being controversial.
It's scary. I don't think people understand the vulnerability that we
sitting here.
Yeah. Like we will say something and then
I don't ever want to upset the community. I don't ever want to come across anything that's not us.
Yeah.
But there's times that I'm like, oh, that's really annoying me. Should I say it? And I'm like, no, it'll probably cause drama.
Yeah. And even the courage for us to talk about what's happened within our businesses with no-shows and things like that. Like I get very anxious talking about things like that, but it's real things.
You don't want to come across bitching.
No.
But also I'm pissed off.
And it's real life. This is what's fucking happening in the industry. Like, do we talk about it? Do we not? So, but we're not. I don't really feel as if there's anything that needs to be spoken about at the moment. No. In regards to a controversial.
We speak our truth, but we always just are very kind about it.
We're mindful as well. And that's the thing. I think that one of the things with people listening to our podcast is they know that we're just speaking the truth.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about it from an outsider perspective.
Do you know what I pride ourselves? Like, I feel like we pride ourselves the most on just being ourselves here, online, and then in person.
100%.
Because there is we're going on another tangent. I know I just said we're going to wrap this up 5 more minutes. There are so many times where we've gone to events and you have this idea you're going to meet someone because that's what they're portraying. They're portraying on social media, and it's not it. And I'm like, oh, I'm not connecting to you like I thought I would.
Yeah. And like, that happens. That's fine. Okay.
But I pride ourselves on what you see here, us sitting here on the chair, is what we are like in person.
And I think it's something like I had a lot of women come up to me at our ASH event in Brisbane and be like, you're literally like you are on the podcast. Yeah. And I'm like, this is us. Me. Like I, don't have the energy to act like I'm 3 different people. But the thing is
embarrassing when you go in person and then you're just not what you are on socials.
But like you just said, I think that's one thing I've always said that I'm very proud of is that even when I'm jumping on an Instagram story, when I'm speaking to a client or talking into a podcast microphone, I don't change in any way. Like I am Helina.
I feel like we would have to slap each other if we did.
I'd slap you.
Wake up.
I would. I'd be like, who? I would actually.
Stop it.
I'd be like.
The vocal. Have you heard the thing where it's like vocal fry?
No.
Like, I can't even, like when they're like fry-y. When people put on this persona of like okay, like that sort of vocal fry.
Shay, if you did that on the podcast, I would literally pull my mic away and I'd be like, are you okay?
Like Do you need a break? Do you need a drink?
Yeah, I'd be like, do you want me to get you a refreshment?
Cringe. But no, I've been seeing that all on TikTok lately. All about vocal fry.
I haven't seen that. Vocal fry.
And I'm like, no vocal fry here.
Can you imagine if we had vocal fry? I feel like that's one thing. When I listen to our podcast back to like review it,
yeah,
I'm like, fuck, I need to relax on my fucking like high pitched shit. But I'm like, it's fun. It keeps everyone on their toes. And that's me.
That's Helina.
I can't help that. So
no. Yeah. And if you ever see us in person and we're not what we hear on the podcast, you can give us a little wake up.
Say something. And you know what? I think this is actually shocking for some people to hear, but I get mad social anxiety.
Do you?
Mad social anxiety.
Oh, you do not give us social anxiety.
I know, but I do. I will never forget masking. There was one time I was going to, back in my day, they were called gathos.
Just going to a gather.
Gather. Mum, I'm going to a gather.
Yeah. Mum picked me up at 10.
Ugh. I was never allowed. My mum always made me drive home from things like that because she's like, you're not drinking. My mum would
give me 4 drinks and she's like, that's all you can have. And
wow,
like,
that's nice. Mum. My mum would never.
Mummy was the one picking everyone up.
I would literally vomit before going into social events. When I would go out when I was younger, like I used to go to this like place called Sandstone Point Hotel. Is like a new thing that opened up when we all turned 18, and I would hurl in the car park from anxiety because I'm like, I don't know who I'm going to run into, like who's going to say anything. Even like,
you don't give those vibes though at all,
which is wild. But I do literally have
inside
like,
you're screaming.
Yeah, inside I'm literally, until like with our Ash event, I'm up on the stage, Shay and Anthony are throwing me up first for the first like whole thing, and I'm like,
because even in that sense, I feel like I need a few minutes to like get comfy. And Anthea, I feel like she's quite similar as well. You're just like, and this is why I'm shocked to hear that you feel like you get this anxiety of standing around, because anytime you go somewhere, it's like, hi, I'm Helina, and you're on, and you're like, oh, she doesn't need a warm up, she's ready. So it's like, Helina, you go first.
It was literally like, Helina, go open the doors. Helina, you're on the first.
You're such a bright, bubbly face from the minute.
Yeah, well, she's screaming.
I'm literally like sucking your dick right now. You are beautiful on the get go.
No,
like, I'm shocked to hear that.
And then can you imagine my anxiety when I couldn't open that fucking door at the Brisbane event? Like I was literally. Like I do get really anxiety. As I get older, it's not so much. Yeah. And like when I'm in a comfortable environment, but I will still be quite anxious around social. And like, I'm like, oh my God, does this person want to have a conversation with me? Yeah. Like, and then when
are they coming to talk to me? Fuck.
Yeah. Like I do get really big social anxiety. Aww. So, but I am getting better.
Maybe next time we'll swap door. We did speak about that on our Ash event education episode. I'll do the door. You can be.
You're doing the door, and then no. And then I do the door. I do the name badges at the start, so I have to meet and greet.
You wanted to do that.
I did.
Don't you dare say that you didn't put your hand up every time.
I was so excited to do the name badges.
You were so ready.
I did want to do the name badges, but I didn't know that meant also opening the door.
Station.
Yeah, I was for the stations because I loved that, but I loved knowing that I was going to be like,
don't throw me under the bus.
Hi guys, but like the doors were 56 kilos each, so that was heavy.
Maybe 5.
The social anxiety is a thing.
Yeah.
And I get it. I don't know if it stems from like other experiences I've had in life, but it's literally just it's just social events.
Yeah.
And that's why like I get really anxious going somewhere alone by myself.
When you gotta like drive somewhere, the drive is always like, ugh.
Yeah. So
but with friends, we're good.
I'm getting better. Yeah. So that's good. But no, this episode was nice.
We were not ready for this episode.
No, but I really hope, again, like it just kind of comes around as like this big 360 that I hope that everyone can appreciate how vulnerable and real we try and portray ourselves through this podcast because it's terrifying. It is. Like, can you guys imagine right now swapping seats with Shay and I? You get on this podcast,
spill all your secrets.
Yeah, just talk about everything. Like there's no one in front of us right now. No. We're just talking to each other. And that's what it feels like. But then we look at the downloads. Like last week, just one episode had 776 downloads.
I forget how many people are listening
to us. That's downloads. That's not even listens.
That's wild.
And that's in 1 week.
Yeah. So true. Downloads is not listens.
No.
Wow.
So it's insane to know that many people do listen to us and talk about what we do.
Yeah.
Whereas, it doesn't get reciprocated to us.
I know, we're like radio silence. We actually did want to say to you guys, more, like if there's ever a question, a story, or an idea of what you what you think you want to hear from us, please tell us. Like, we want to hear more from you guys
Yeah,
as well.
definitely.
If you're listening to this episode right now and you're like, Helina, Shay, you need to talk about this thing.
Send it
Tell us.
to us.
If you've got a story of that time your client fucked you around, this time you started crying in between, I don't know, something wild, something crazy. If you've got a story, tell us.
I farted near a client's head the other day.
Sorry, I thought you were just about to say you just farted then.
No,
and I was like,
I farted near a
wow,
client's
they're
head.
comfy.
That's there you go. That's how vulnerable I am. And then I had to address the elephant in the fucking room that I.
Sorry, babes. No.
Sorry, Haley.
Hope it wasn't smelly. But that sort of shit, tell us, because we just want to share with everyone. I love it.
And again, it's just like, you're not alone, guys. And you're not by yourselves in this industry. Yes, you're a sole trader or you work alone, but you have got people like Shay and I who are willing to answer any questions that you have, any DMs. We might be a little bit slow on the DMs, but we're still there.
You'll get a voice note. You're not going to get a paragraph message. That takes too long.
Voice note girls.
We're voice noting everyone.
100%. I'm always like, hi.
I know. I'm like, hope you don't mind. Anyway. Blah, blah.
But then they send a voice note back and I'm like, this is fun.
And
Or
then
a
we're
video.
friends.
Sometimes I'm like a video girly.
Ooh.
I love sending a video.
I should be a video girly.
Yeah, love that.
It's so much easier. If you want a response, I'm going to send you a voice note.
Absolutely.
Or a video.
Literally.
Well, we are rambling. We need to wrap her up.
Okay, guys.
Next week, another episode's coming.
Wahoo!
We are vibing. Amazing. We love you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. We would like to thank one of our sponsors, Lash Rescue, for helping make this podcast episode possible. Lash Rescue is an Australian-owned business that prides itself on being cruelty-free and vegan, offering lash and brow growing serums, accelerating mascaras, brow hydration oils, plus lash accessories. Lash Rescue is currently loved and stocked in over 1,400 beauty salons worldwide and currently flying off both Helina's and I's shelves.
We have been lucky enough to collaborate with Lash Rescue on a very special product which is called the Brow Bestie Bundle. Fitting, we know. This was carefully crafted to be showcased in beauty salons worldwide to offer the best aftercare. Our Brow Rescue oil is a multi-use product for the reasons being it's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, prevents skin swelling after waxing, locks in tint color, and it promotes hair growth. Not to mention it smells divine. We have been lucky enough to receive a discount code for you guys to use when you're purchasing your own Bestie Bundle. So use our special code in capitals BrowBestie20 to receive 20% off your Bestie Bundle. Thanks again to Lash Rescue for helping make this episode possible.